Andrew won't go away Royal Lodge, and Charles is powerless. It has been suggested that the Royal Lodge is lined up for Prince William and Kate to stay in. King Charles is stated to have no power in forcing Prince Andrew out of his domestic in Windsor, with the Duke having no plans to vacate. Charles is stated to be looking at reducing spending in the royal family, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle already dropping their UK house Frogmore Cottage. And now an insider has claimed Charles is unable to pressure the Duke of York out of his Windsor home due to the fact his brother's title is on the lease, no longer the royal family's. It has been suggested that the Royal Lodge is meant for Prince William and Kate. But Andrew reportedly intends to honor the rent he signed in 2003, which expires in 75 years, through refusing to pass out of the £30 million mansion. It is concept Buckingham Palace has presented him Frogmore Cottage, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's old home. This is regardless of alleged strain from Buckingham Palace to pass to Frogmore Cottage, a smaller house on the Windsor property earlier lived in by means of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. An insider, who is in everyday contact with Andrew, advised The Times. The rent is in the Duke's title, so no one can take that away from him. It has in no way been advised that it may want to be taken away from him. It's a lengthy hire with 80 to 90 years left on it. This is a rent between him and the Crown Estate. That's now not account for the King. It's account for the Chancellor of the Exchequer. The solely way you ought to get him to go out would be via an association. He would have to agree. There is a clause in the rent that Andrew have to maintain the property up to a conservation and historic standard, which has been stated he cannot manage to pay for to do. Royals get these houses for a knockdown hire, however they have to pay for the preservation out of their very own pockets. Okay, so the rent is between Andrew and the Crown Estate. That's no longer account for the King. The King plans to cut back a £250,000 annual furnish his brother obtained from the Queen. The King has manage of the £652 million privy purse. It need to additionally be cited that the King additionally plans to reduce different royals annual can provide as well. The higher settlement requires Andrew to elevate out his personal expense, refurbishments estimated at £7.5 million. And if Andrew does not keep the property in accordance to his higher settlement with the Crown Estate, they should terminate the hire early. If Charles cuts his £250k annual provide from the Duchy of Lancaster, he may not have any profits flow different than his Navy pension. I accept as true with a king trumps a disgraced spare prince any day and twice on Sunday. The proper scenario relies upon what the stipulations are in the real hire document. But let's face it, usually, the monarch receives what the monarch desires in non-political situations. I simply want they would get this sorted. I do not like Andrew having so a good deal interest. It simply feeds his ego, which is quite delusional on account that he is accomplished and dusted as a working royal. The state of affairs is set in stone at this factor, and he wants to go quietly into the night time to cease the continuing harm to the crown. I anticipate the Chancellor of the Exchequer would work with the King to acquire the preferred result. It looks to me that Andrew would have bothered demonstrating fiscal solvency up to the monetary degree required to guide the property, particularly after emptying his coffers to pay his settlement. So if the Chancellor inquired about the financial state of affairs now that Andrew is in compelled retirement, I assume the dialogue would be over and the hire suspended. And the relationship between the authors and the Windsor/Ginger PR desktop is Chucky would possibly be useless timber from the neck up, but his keepers who without a doubt manipulate each issue of his very existence are no longer